Well, let's speak about this with Asia political risk analyst Ross Feingold in Taipei. Hi there, Ross. Do these comments that we've heard both from the US and China about Taiwan actually increase tensions and make other countries in the region quite nervous about how it's all going to impact them?
The comments alone probably don't increase tensions or change how other countries look at these issues. In a way, what both sides said publicly or probably in the room in the one-on-one meetings is a lot of what we've heard before. China states its position that Taiwan is part of its territory. It'll use force if necessary. The U.S. states its position about acknowledging the Chinese position. The U.S. says we want peace, we want stability, we don't want either side, either Taiwan or China, to change the status quo. But we think a lot of your actions, such as military exercises, are destabilizing. So probably more important than the statements that either side made is what kind of actions they take. And for the Chinese side, that's obviously military exercises, which put enormous pressure on the Taiwan government and the Taiwan military to respond when and where and how necessary. And for the U.S., there's pressure to make not just more statements, but take more action, whether that's weapon sales. There's been a lot of recent calls for more kinds and more public joint training between the Taiwan and U.S. military. And other countries, it's interesting because Japan has become more vocal about its views and its concerns on this question. But other countries in Asia, we don't see it yet. We don't see South Korea taking a pro-Taiwan position, for example. ASEAN countries, including the host country of the Shangri-La Dialogue, Singapore, they don't seem to want to be taking sides in this dispute either.
And Ross, you mentioned Japan there, and I believe that the Japanese defense minister actually addressed everyone at that gathering, and he also had a lot of concerns about Russia and China. What's got Japan so concerned?
Well, as a close security partner, treaty ally of the United States, it's not a surprise that Japan would align with the United States. And interestingly, this has been a long time coming. For years, many security analysts in the United States felt that Japan was simply too reluctant to state its views, state its concerns about regional security, and frankly, to participate as well. And yeah, we know there's constitutional restrictions, and there's been a lot of discussion for many years already about changing that. But the reality is, whether it's in Japan's north, that there's pressure from Russia, or the Senkaku Diaoyutai Islands, that it has a competing sovereignty claim with China, and Japan's recent often stated position or concern about Taiwan, that if there's a conflict over Taiwan, it might very well involve Japan. So not a surprise that we see these kinds of statements from Japan more frequently, more vociferously. But what still remains to be seen is whether or not just the Japanese government, but also the people of Japan as well, are willing to make the commitment necessary to back up those statements with concrete action.
Ross Feingold, good to get your analysis on that live. She was there from Taipei.